All right, she's questioning her engagement all because of an Instagram quote. If you have a dilemma, you have a need for advice, 9 times out of 10, our Bert Show fam has been through what you've gone through. So you can always hit us up with an email, head to thebertshow.com. Cassie's got this one.
I need your advice about something. I'm trying not to overthink things in my relationship, but I can't help it. So here's the thing. I'm engaged to be married. Is there any other version of engaged? Why do people say engaged to be married? I'm sorry, I've heard it like so many times on the show the past week, and it's driving me bananas.
I'm engaged.
Like you can be engaged in conversation, I guess.
Oh yeah. Engaged in combat.
Okay.
Oh,
Fine,
okay.
fair. I'm engaged to be married, but not in conversation or combat. And I love my fiance with all my heart. But recently I came across this quote on Instagram that has been really bothering me ever since I read it. It said something like, men marry the person in front of them at the time they are ready to marry.
Didn't you bring this up on the show, Mo?
I feel like I did. I did speak to that.
I read that and it really made sense when I started thinking about all the guy friends I know. It also really started to make me nervous about my relationship. What if I'm not the love of his life, but I'm just the girl he was with at the time in his life where he's ready for marriage? I know. It sounds silly to be questioning my engagement over an Instagram quote, but the thing is, the quote really resonated with me, and now I can't seem to shake these doubts out of my head. I mean, I know I love my fiance, but what if he doesn't feel the same way about me? I don't know if I should talk to him about my doubts or not. On one hand, I don't want to create tension in a relationship, but on the other hand, I don't want to spend the rest of my life wondering if my husband really loves me or not. What should I do? I guess what I'm really asking is, do you think it's possible that my fiance is only marrying me because he's ready for marriage and not because he's truly in love with me? And if so, how can you know for sure? Should I talk to him about it, or is that just going to cause unnecessary drama? Sorry if I'm rambling. I just feel really confused and unsure of what to do. I would appreciate any advice or insight you can offer. Thanks so much for taking the time to read my email.
You think she's a Virgo, Mo?
I think it's a strong chance. Very strong possibility.
Think there's just a little bit of overthinking here?
You know why I'm pretty sure she's a Virgo? Because as crazy as it may sound, I understand this. That's how I know. I did speak to one time, there are some men who they will marry because they're just ready to marry, and they happen to meet someone at the time that they're ready. And maybe they didn't get married before, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't like the woman they were with. They just weren't ready. Mm-hmm. But I think that goes both ways. And I do think sometime, more than people would like to admit, you get married when you're ready, and maybe there was a person that kind of was the love of your life, but it didn't work out, and you've moved on. And sometimes I guess that gives people insecurity of like, am I really the person for you? So I understand that insecurity, but you can't carry it into the relationship if that's not what he's showing you. And I think she got to get out of her head a little bit.
So you read this Instagram quote and it hits you a certain way, right? Have a conversation with him and be like, oh my gosh, this popped up in my Insta. What do you think of this?
Oh, that's great.
And get his reaction to it and get his take on it. Before you start I just felt like you jumped off a ledge after reading this quote and made a ton of assumptions, and you're generalizing. So you want to believe every single man who has proposed and gotten married is not because they're marrying the love of their life. It's just because, oh, this is the woman I'm with and I'm ready to get married now. It's strictly because they're just ready to get married. No, that is not true. I'm sure this quote does apply to some men, but it doesn't mean it applies to your man.
100.
It's kind of insulting to men, too.
It is.
Because the man's not just going to be like, cool, my life's over. I'm ready to get married. I'm just going to go with this ball and chain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, men are also complex emotional creatures who want love and lifelong companionship. Some of them are Hugh Hefners.
So that would be my advice, is to literally, you know, I share memes and stuff all the time that I find with my husband or whatever. So just be like, oh my God, can you believe this? No way this is true, right? And show it to him. And especially since the fact the two of you are engaged is very timely and very relevant to your relationship.
Since she likes to live by quotes on Instagram, I'm going to take her back to the old school. Remember posters? Back in the day, they were the pre-memes back in the day. And there was one poster in particular of a cat hanging from a branch, and it said, hang in there. So I want her to hang in there because she's overthinking it.
Okay.
I wanted to get those on my checks when I ordered them, and Chad said no.
I do not remember those.
It was like a little kitten hanging from it. Hang in there, baby. And it's like a weird, like 70s font script.
Okay.
That's a blast from the past.
It is.
The Bert Show.
Like what you just watched? Well, you can get way more of The Bert Show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your favorite podcast.